Thanks for tuning in. My name is Andy, and I am a student who is studying how to be a speech-language pathologist. And I wanted to create this video today to talk about and demonstrate two different stuttering modification techniques. Today we're going to be talking about cancellations and pullouts. They are stuttering modification techniques, and so before I get into those, I just wanted to talk with you about what each part of that phrase means of stuttering modification techniques. So the first part, stuttering, if you do not know, stuttering is a communication disorder where someone's speech may not be very fluent. Oftentimes we describe fluency as being smooth, seemingly effortless speech that is very even and not bumpy, and doesn't have a lot of pauses or breaks where they're not intended to be. Stuttering typically has three core behaviors with it. You might hear someone with stuttering have repetitions, or you may hear a block, or you might hear prolongation, which I'll demonstrate on the word sunshine. So you can kind of see that there's different stuttering behaviors that may happen, and maybe you or someone you know has these behaviors. And so one way we can help those who stutter is by providing modification for that stutter. So that's the second part. Modification, which would typically mean just to change, and in the realm of stuttering treatment, modification would mean to adapt and change the stutter so it's not as severe and with an overall purpose to sound more effortful. So at first we have the stuttering, which is more disfluent speech that can have those three repetitions, prolongation, or block, one of those or multiple of those behaviors that occur in the speech. So then we want to modify that so that those who have a moderate to severe stutter, even a mild stutter, can change it. How to change it is by applying different techniques. So obviously techniques would be ways to fix or change something. So with stuttering modification techniques, we're hoping to help those who stutter by giving them tools to adapt the way they speak so that it sounds more fluent and more natural. That's our overall goal. With stuttering modification, it doesn't mean it's a quick fix to stuttering, and it does take practice and time. So if you are someone who stutters and you want to try out these techniques, I encourage you to do that. It may be challenging at first and it may feel uncomfortable, but just go at your own pace. This is this is not an official therapy session, so just for your reference, you can look back at this video and maybe practice the techniques. I can give you some tips to do that. Or if you are a SLP in training like me, you can refer to this video maybe to help you study for the praxis about the different techniques. So the two stuttering modification techniques I'm going to demonstrate today are cancellations and pullouts. The first one I'll talk about is cancellations. So the purpose for cancellation is to reduce the tension after you've made the production. So I'm going to demonstrate on the word watermelon. Oftentimes when I demonstrate fluency techniques, I like to use multisyllabic words. So that would be, I think, a good tip for if you're in a therapy session to use a multisyllabic word. That way you can see each part of the word getting broken down into the technique. Just a little side note. But here goes the technique cancellation on watermelon. What I'm going to do is first say the word with a severe stutter. I'll do a repetition. So it would sound like this. Watermelon. So that was pretty intense. I will apply the cancellation technique by repeating the word, but with the goal of less intense stuttering. So I can reduce that repetition stuttering by relaxing my body a little bit more, which is easier said than done, relaxing a little bit more, and also reducing the number of repetitions. So here goes. Watermelon. So the goal of this technique is to go back on some words that you may struggle with or your client may have a hard time with. And this way you can kind of be in that mental practice of thinking about, where is my tension? What is my mouth doing? What am I thinking during this time? Canceling what was done before and enact to modify what was done before into a less severe form, so that way it sounds more natural in future conversations. That is the goal. So I'll demonstrate it again. Let's see. Like I said, I like to use multisyllabic words. So this time I'll say magic marker, and I'll just demonstrate the technique in full without explanation during. So here goes. Magic marker. Magic marker. So that was a demonstration of the cancellation technique. Again, it's a stuttering modification, and it may take quite a bit of practice and will feel awkward to practice it. So I would encourage you, if you are someone who stutters and maybe this isn't a tool that you've heard of before, or maybe it's one that you have, maybe just to try it, and not saying to go out and try it in a conversation with a random stranger right now, but just a practice. And if you want to watch yourself in a mirror, you can do it. Or if you just want to maybe do it as you're sitting on the couch, just relaxing, give it a try. And I would also encourage you to take your time through it, not something that you have to rush through. So that is the first stuttering modification technique of cancellation. The second one I'm going to demonstrate is the pull-out technique. So this technique is used during a moment of stuttering, and the goal of the pull-out technique is to reduce the tension while the stuttering is happening. So that way, in a conversation, when that disfluent or moment of stuttering does come up, you have a way to break away from it with a little bit less tension while still finishing out the word. So I'll demonstrate again, and this time I'm just going to go right through, because that's the goal of a pull-out, is that you do it during the moment of stuttering. So the word that I will use is... I gotta think about multisyllabic. Towards the end of the day, it's hard to come up with words really fast. I'll say deodorant. Deodorant. So I put my hand up in this video just to show you where I was thinking about reducing that tension. Not necessarily something you need to do with your client, but this is just how I was demonstrating for the video purposes, how to reduce that tension and that stuttering. I'm going to demonstrate the technique again. I'll use another word. This time I'll say basketball. Basketball. So you can kind of see at the beginning of that moment of stuttering, it seems very severe and very intense, but the idea is to reduce the stuttering while you're in that moment of stuttering, as a way to think about how you can change and modify the stutter, and that way it could sound a bit more smooth and natural towards the end of the production of the word. So I hope that these two techniques either help you if you do have a stutter, or like I said, if you're a speech language pathology student who is studying these techniques, or maybe if you just know someone that stutters and maybe you want to share this video with them, you could do that. There are other techniques out there, and I can provide resources for you to learn more about those techniques. Some things don't work for everybody, but give it a try. And I would also encourage you, if you haven't heard of stuttering before, I would encourage you to research more into it and just learn more about it, and how you can interact with someone who stutters and maybe just provide a good listening ear for them. I know that there is a National Stuttering Foundation, the NSA, that has really great resources, so feel free to check those out. In the meantime, I hope that you guys have a really great night and that you have a good day tomorrow. All right, bye.